Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ilian in the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Thomas. Thomas is from Scotland in the UK. So let's see what Thomas has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
No, thanks very much for asking me to come on. I really love this idea and the concept that you've got going. I think it's fascinating, if I'm honest.
Amazing. So tell me how 2026 has been for you so far.
Hectic. Jeez, it's been fast. It's been fast paced, but good. And I know we're only 9 days in, but it feels like I've done a lot, but really, really good. Really, really good so far.
And during this time of the year, you're a kind of person that make new resolutions, you make some plans, or you just go with the flow.
I do like to have some targets to try and work towards. The
Hmm.
resolutions the only one I can really say is I'm trying to be a little bit less lazy. I'm trying to get things done a little bit faster. I'm trying to move what ideas a little bit quicker. I'm one of those people that I feel like I have quite a few, or maybe it sounds arrogant saying this, but I feel like I have good ideas. But then what I end up doing is I end up just sitting on it and I don't do anything. So I want to stop being lazy and I want to move a little bit faster with ideas this year.
Tell me where you're from, Thomas.
I'm from Scotland. I'm from a small town called Arbroath on the east coast. You may have heard of Arbroath Smokies.
Uh-huh. Yes, I think I have.
And the Declaration of Independence between Scotland and England, that was also signed in Arbroath.
And that's the place where you're born and raised?
I was born just outside, but I've lived here my whole life, yeah.
I see. So tell me something interesting about your hometown besides that. There's something interesting that stands out compared to the place in Scotland?
Arbroath is an interesting place, if I'm honest. I don't know whether it's the people. I don't know whether it's the, the what would you call it? Like the kind of rural areas around there. We've got we're on the coast. We're on the east coast. We've got some
Hmm.
beautiful sandstone cliffs up at the top side, and at the bottom
Okay.
side we've got one of the hardest golf courses I think in the world to play because of the wind, and it's right next to the seashore. We've got a football team that has the closest ground to the sea, I believe. It may have just been beaten, but a place called Gayfield. And again, Arbroath, the football club, they've scored the most goals in a single game, 36-0
Oh, wow.
against. I think it was against like a police team or like a throw together team, but I'm not sure. Um, it is an interesting little place. A lot happens. It's big enough to feel almost like a city, but it's close enough and tight knit enough that it feels like a village.
And how far are you from Glasgow or Edinburgh?
So Glasgow we're just shy of 2 hours, I believe, and then Edinburgh about an hour and 45 minutes or so. So
Okay,
we're about an hour away from Aberdeen, so that's further up, and then a fair trek from Inverness. So we're kind of like central on the east coast.
I see. Okay, Thomas, so let's start the interview talking about your career as a fitness trainer. So tell me how everything started.
Okay, so I became a personal trainer. I knew you were going to ask this, and I was trying to think like, how long ago did I start? It's between 17 and 18 years, something like that. Um, I was very fortunate that I'd done an academic exchange, so I got to go to America for a year, and I got to do a year of high school over there. Absolutely loved that, and I got to play a bit of basketball. I grew up from the age of about 7 or 8, just playing basketball all the time. Absolutely loved it. It was like my goal and ambition. It was everything in my life. And I'd set the goal that I was going to try and play basketball in America, and then again, I got the opportunity to do it.
Hmm.
I thought that was going to stem into some sort of scholarship or potentially even a career in it. I just couldn't deal with the large crowds. I just didn't quite have the ability to deal with that, and I panicked a little bit, and I didn't play as well as I could. When I came back from America, I was about the age of, I think I was like 19, just about to turn 20. Just kind of fell into a rut of like drinking's quite big in my town. I just fell back into a group of pals that I was with that we used to just drink pretty much from like Thursday till Monday morning. And then I
Wow.
just had like little part-time bar jobs. And I can just remember not ever feeling happy other than when I was going to go out. And I went to the doctor, broke down crying. I was like, I just can't remember the last time I felt happy. And he was like, I think you should start going back to playing basketball or doing some exercise. And I can remember just being like, you mother, this is basketball's why I feel this way. And he was like, no, no, go back to it. And within 2 weeks of playing basketball, just for 2 hours each week, I started
Wow.
feeling better. And I thought, like, I'm someone that can talk. I can talk to anybody. I can build relationships quite quickly. I'm chatty. I was like, if I can make other people do exercise to make themselves feel better, that would be something that I would love to do. And I just decided then at 21 years old, I was like, I am going to become a personal trainer. And then everything in my life pretty much has been pushing me in the direction to where I am now.
I love this story. I love this story. Sometimes you go through those tough situations in life, that you have no choice. You need just to focus on something and suddenly you just find your passion again. And now you're helping people. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Amazing. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through Weber's life and share your point of views?
Yeah, of course. I'm excited.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So have you my best friend. Of random fun questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the interview, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Yeah, of course, of course. I should be fine.
Good question. If you're not yourself, would you like to be yourself?
I actually had a really deep thought of this just the other day, and it was me trying to envision what other people see when they look at me, or like when I walk past them. And I was trying to see what people would see. And I guess like every human being, we do have ups and downs, and we have highs and lows, we have good days and bad days. But I think I'm quite good at putting on a face to always make it seem like I'm having a good day. So I think if I was someone else and I seen me, I might see this mask or whatever you want to call it, this and I do it as well on purpose to try and help people have a better day. I think people would see that and then they'd think, oh, I want to be as happy as he is all the time. So I think potentially, I think if I was someone else and I seen me, I think maybe, yeah, I would.
And what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Thomas?
The biggest joy, honestly, and it's going to sound a bit sappy, either my wife or the fact that I do genuinely live like 19-year-old me's dream. Like I have done everything to get myself into a position that when I wake up in the morning, I'm excited to go deal with either members at the gym, clients, my family, again, my wife, like everything that I've tried to kind of like work towards, I have. I've been called crazy a few times, but I've tried really hard to build a life that I would be happy to say that I've lived, even if I was to, it all ended next week. So that is probably the biggest joy. Like my life, what I've built together or with my wife, yeah.
And you believe that happiness is a choice?
I don't know if it's as a choice as such. I do believe the way that you think about certain things could lead to whether you're going to be happier more regularly or if you will see that like pessimistic world of it always being grey and half empty. Is it a choice? I think you have to take complete ownership of your own happiness. And I think if you're really, really unhappy, like, and I'm talking like medically unhappy, you need to take it on that you have to try and do something to speak to the right people to get yourself out of that rut. I think it's more a mindset and an ownership that comes with happiness.
I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Thomas from Scotland. Next question is, would you ever get a tattoo and what that would be?
Okay, so I have one. That's the state of Indiana, and that's where I played basketball when I was in America. And recently, I have been thinking about getting a couple more tattoos. One of them, there's a philosopher called Friedrich Nietzsche. I think I'm probably butchering that name. And he had a thing saying that, like, I am dynamite. And it's about, like, the potential that you have. So I was quite fancying getting a little stick of dynamite to remind me that I have potential. I just need to ignite it to let it explode. And then the other one I've been thinking about a lot is my mum, when I was growing up, always used to say if a feather falls in front of you, that's one of your loved ones keeping an eye on you, making sure that you're all right. And last year when I was going through my bodybuilding prep, every time that I started to have days where I was like, I don't want to do this, I would weirdly see a feather. Like, and it was in odd places. Like it would be like in the gym, or it would be like stuck in someone's letterbox, or it was always like bizarre. So I was thinking about maybe getting a stick of dynamite and a feather. And then another bigger one that I was thinking about was Sisyphus. Yeah, the Greek myth of the guy that pushed the rock up the mountain, and I was just like he was just stuck in that for eternity. And that's just to try and remind me that like each day you should just be trying to work towards something, but you have to find enjoyment in the work. It shouldn't be about like we were saying earlier on, like this mindset of happiness. Like
Uh-huh.
it's just what needs done. So don't try and think if it's going to be good or bad. It is just what needs done. So I wanted to get those. Those are three things that I've been thinking about recently, but I've not pulled the trigger on it.
Tell me something, as you mentioned a few times about your time in America, Indiana, yeah? So
Yeah.
tell me what, besides the basketball, of course, what did you enjoy the most about being there? Was the very first time that you've been abroad, living abroad, or not?
It was the first time that I lived abroad, 100%. The family that I stayed with, um, this family, I know they won't ever watch this, but I actually love them like they are my own family.
Mhm.
They took me into their house, like within weeks. My host mum, Pam, she called me son. She treated me
Wow.
like a son. We used to just like sit and watch films together. Like the family, my host brother, I'm gonna try and go out and visit him, Adam. Just that family made me feel so loved, welcomed. Them, they were my favorite thing. And then there was a good friend of mine, Dominic. I know he's never going to watch this either, but he's like a friend for life. The Blackburn family, and then my friend Dominic that I met when I was over there. They're definitely the best things.
Wow. And you stayed there for the whole year without coming back to Scotland?
Yeah, so I stayed for. I was only supposed to be there for 10 months, but I think I stayed for 12 or 13. And then 2 years later, I went back, and I was only supposed to go for 3 weeks, and I stayed for 3 months.
Oh
Um,
my God.
yeah, and I can't remember what the visa was. The visa ran out the day that I had to leave. The visa ran out, and I like phoned up immigration, and I was like, "Can I stay for longer?" And they were like, "You better leave today." But
Saying
yeah,
that, so tell me what America has taught you, that time, that 1 year that spent there with those lovely families, friends, the whole, when you think about it, what that time of your life has taught you, being there.
it taught me quite a lot, to be honest. But one of the biggest lessons I took away from it is like in Scotland, maybe it's all of the UK. Like a
Mhm.
lot of people won't really support you and cheer you on and be positive about when you want to chase goals or dreams, whereas the Americans, they are all for you. Like they say like if you say I'm going to do this, they're like you can do it, go for it. And I really liked that. I really really liked that. Like people would just support strangers. People would be positive around each other and try and motivate and inspire each other. And that was that positivity. Like not everything has to be doom and gloom. And if someone else is wanting to do something, it doesn't mean that you're competing against them. You want them to
Mhm.
do well because if they do well, the likelihood is you'll probably do well as well. So that shared, I don't know what it'd be called, camaraderie or like positivity. That would probably be the biggest thing that I took away.
I see. Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Thomas, before the next question, tell me what's the biggest joy of being a health fitness trainer. What do you like the most about your journey? And also, of course, there's always a challenging time. What that would be?
So this is like a twofold thing. So one, it's definitely seeing people achieve things that they weren't certain that they could at the start. Um,
Mhm.
they say they maybe got a goal or they've got like some aspirations to achieve a certain thing, and then when you try and like whittle it down to like what they actually want, and you find that it's maybe a few levels higher than what they actually said to you, that is such a such a delight to be able to bring to the world almost. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like when you see these people that maybe have like no self-confidence, they don't see themselves being able to do anything, or they think that they're just like a lost cause, and then they actually start to like get a bit of consistency. They start to grow their confidence, and then they start to see that they can do more than what they originally thought they could. That's such a wonderful feeling. Um, there was another side to that, but I can't remember what it was. The two
Is
joys.
that the most challenging part? What do you find most
The
difficult
most the
about?
most challenging part,
Yeah.
also making people realize that they can do more than what they believe. Like you were asking about the happiness, a lot of people have a, I wouldn't say it's like a closed mindset, I would say it's like a capped mindset. They know that there is places beyond where they want to be or where they want to get, um,
Mhm.
but they don't believe that they can get there. And I do think that it's a bit misunderstood. Like when we're, especially for me when I was in school, we were always told to set achievable and realistic goals. I think you need to aim higher. I think you need to make it as exciting as you possibly can, so that you're not just doing something that you know you can do. You're doing something that's like a bit of a gamble. There's a bit of risk there, but I think you put a bit more into it. And definitely that's one of the biggest challenges is getting people to realize that like you can do more than what you think or believe just now. You just have to start believing it.
And do you train more online or just one-to-one in person?
Mainly online now, but I still do one-to-one in person. I love that aspect too much. Like I love talking to people like this, William. Like I genuinely love it. I love meeting new people. Um, I love getting to actually like hear what people have got to say and what they're thinking. I do feel bad just me answering questions and not me getting to ask you some questions as well. So yeah,
And sorry, carry on. Sorry.
I do a bit of both, and I love both sides of it.
2020 when the world went upside down. Yeah, when I think the fitness industry, I don't know, had a big impact regarding that. I remember, like, my God, when 2020 hits and suddenly people they just could work out online. I remember people fitness trainers they just organize some online classes, this and that. In your opinion, um, during that time, it was something positive for you, or it was quite negative for your business or for your career?
So I always feel really bad saying this, but during the pandemic and the lockdown, I was able to really like drive my business, and I feel like I was able to have quite a positive impact on a lot of people's lives locally to me,
Hmm.
with getting them to do a bit of exercise, getting them to understand that you don't have to use the gym all the time, but you can still do little things and still make progress. Uh, it was obviously a devastating time for the entire planet, but during that time, it was quite a positive thing for me. Um, I was able to just like knuckle down, develop the online business that I had. That I'd kind of started just before it, but I wasn't able to go outside, so I was just sat at my desk regularly, typing up training plans, creating videos to be able to share that were like frequently asked questions. And it was a bit quite a big boom, and I had the most clients I'd ever had at that time.
Okay. Next question is, what is a significant event that has changed you?
Significant event that has changed me. I feel like there's been quite a lot, but like the biggest change, the biggest, like most recent, I'll talk about a recent one. So I went into a business partnership in 2023,
Hmm.
and we purchased a gym. Um, I'm majority shareholder, and it's seen as my gym. My business partner's a financial backer, so it's seen as mine, right? And what I quickly learned, because we bought it off someone who was very liked, very popular in his gym. There was I don't want to use the word cruelty, but it was like backstabbing, getting thrown under the bus, um, people not being as nice as like not as nice as what I'm just used to people being.
Hmm.
But I learned to like I got calloused quite quick, and I was able to take it on. And there was people saying certain things about other people, but then when the people were there, they would not say they would say nice things to their face, but they would then say negative things about me to them, and it was very like quite a horrible place like time and place to be in. But it learned me to be able to it learned me to one be able to take things on the chin and be able to move forward with it, but also let me be able to take like and carry other people's burdens, but keep that positive face on so that nobody else was getting impacted by the negativity that I was having to deal with. Um, and I felt that like I matured in a way that I didn't quite have before that. Maybe I would have blown up or I would have said something or thrown that person under the bus, but it taught me to be able to stay a bit more composed even when I knew someone was trying to sabotage me.
Wow. Saying that, what's the meaning of life for you, Thomas, when you think about life?
And I think about this a lot, right? I honestly think about this a lot. I think the meaning of life is to live it, but I think you have to live it like unapologetically authentically. You
Uh-huh.
have to live it your way, like what you think's important, and you have to pursue that. What you think's important to do, whether that's make loads of money, whether it's to have a big family, whether it's to become good at a hobby, maybe it's you just enjoy working and relaxing, like whatever it is that really means something to you, and you could look back at the end of it and say that that was a good life. I think that's the meaning of life. I
Wow.
think it's squeezing every drip of life out of life as you possibly can.
Tell me a life lesson that life has taught you that feel very grateful for it.
I read a book by a man called Rollo May, and it was Man's Search for Meaning. And in it, and this is like
Actually, I have this book here by my side.
that's like so my favorite quote from every book is the opposite to courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. And I think as soon as you can start living like authentically yourself, unapologetically, and
Mhm.
understanding that you're not perfect,
Yeah,
I think you can just start being a lot. And again, you're asking about happiness. I think you can start feeling a lot more happiness, or even just content within yourself to, in like in the decisions that you make and the things that you're doing. You slowly start to compare yourself less because you start to see yourself as yourself, and you don't have to be like everybody else. But
totally.
I unfortunately only learned that maybe a year or two ago. Um, and a lot of my life I'd been very self-conscious, but then covering it with arrogance, and I'd like I tried to pretend to be someone that I wasn't for a long, long time.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I honestly, like as soon as I read that quote, it just something in my head just went, "Who am I trying to like? Just be
Totally.
you."
Yeah, yeah. I get your point. I think when you realize that, I remember the moment as well when you realize that if your shoulders feel so much lighter,
Oh,
you just wake up in the morning knowing that whatever is going to happen, I'm just being myself, and it feels great because you attract the right people and the wrong people just go. And it feels great that you just live a life being your truly self, authentic self. That's the best feeling. I think that's for me the meaning of success when you can live your life and understand that some of us, for different reasons, we cannot be our truly self because maybe society or religion or could be
yeah,
anything. However, when we can wake up every day knowing that you it's just yourself, there's no other way to be. Trust me, it's the best feeling ever.
I 100% agree with you. 100%. And do you know what's nice? Hearing someone being passionate about that and
Yeah,
realizing like if
yeah,
more people could just be themselves and didn't try and be like everybody else, I think we'd see mental health get much better. I think we'd see the world blossom and grow a bit more, um, not naturally or authentically, but in a way that was like more beneficial to the human race as opposed to just making loads of people loads of money. Um,
totally.
yeah, no, it's a great point. Great, great point.
Amazing. 3 questions left. Let's do it. Do you like dancing, Thomas?
Right. I love dancing, but I'm terrible. And my wife, it's like living in a musical. Everything that she does, she dances and bobs and beats, everything, any noise or rhythm or anything that pops up, she dances all the time. So watching her dance is like I love that. Like it's just a happiness that comes into me. I do love dancing, but I am terrible. I am absolutely diabolical. I would
As,
try and copy your dance, but I wouldn't even be able to do it.
as I can see your eyes shining talking about your wife, so tell me, so far, what has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned from her?
Most meaningful lesson I've learned from my wife. My wife is a special, special human being.
Oh,
And she's also 5 years older than me. And I think what it made me do is it made me grow up a little bit faster, but not in a way that it stole from my youth. It just like developed me into the kind of man that I wanted to be. And that was 12, 13 years. I think we've been, well, I should probably know that. Yeah, I think 13 years this year.
wow.
But yeah, because she was a little bit more mature than me, it made me like it just like flicked the switch on like maturity, and
Hmm.
realizing that like I wanted to be a man, and I didn't want to be a boy anymore. I didn't want to be. I was like I want to be like a man. That was like, and I don't know if that's gonna make sense to many people, but yeah.
And how did your path cross for the very first time, if you can share?
So I can remember it exactly. Like this. This is funny. These are all questions that I've had these conversations a lot of times. So the first time I'd ever, like, I can remember the first time I ever seen her. Um, And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Big Fish. It's quite a
I
nice
think
movie. And they're at a carnival, and he sees the love of his life for the first time, and there's popcorn spilling, and it's like time just like slows down. It was very like that. We were in a busy pub or like a busy bar in Arbroath, and I was a bit of a lad at the time. I was quite successful with the women at that time. Like my conversation and my chat up lines, they all seemed to work, and I was getting a lot of telephone numbers. And I remember the crowd parted, and I seen her, so I was oozing confidence. I was like, there, who is that? And a couple of people had told me who she was, and I was like, right, I'm gonna get her over here to have a drink with us. And I went over, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something crap like, "You look like you're bored. Do you want to come over here and have some fun with us?" or something like that. And she was on her phone, and she just like looked up at me, and she just said no, just like blank face, just no.
I love it. I love it.
And I can remember just being like, okay, fair enough, and I just like left it. And
I love it.
that was the first I can remember it as well. I just remember seeing her and just being like, holy, she is beautiful. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I think that was the best no you ever had in your
Oh,
life.
100%. 100%.
Sweet, very sweet. Okay, next question is, what is something you wish you could do every single day?
So as I said earlier on, I do quite like the life that I've built up. But if I could do this, if I could do something every day, people laugh when I say this, right? Because I'm a health and fitness professional and I know how important sleep is. If I could remove sleep from my life to give me those extra 6 to 8 hours in that 24-hour window that we get each day, it would be that so that I could see and connect with my friends and my family more. I work a lot, and I know I'm maybe going to regret it later in life, but I work a lot and I don't have a lot of time from friends and family. And I know that that's something that I should be making more time for. And it's, I guess if you want to call it a resolution, I've made that. But I would love to be able to spend more time with my family every day. Quality time, not just fly by, quick coffee and out. Like actually sit and converse and hear about their lives and hear what they're up to and chat away with them. That would be something that I would love to be able to do every single day.
I get your point, and I remember like maybe a few years ago when I was a teenager, and I remember that you were talking about aging, and somebody said average of people who, let's say, they live 75-year-old, they sleep 25 years of their lives. When that hit me, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to sleep that long in my life. I want to live more and more. I want to be awake
Yeah.
more and more. It's crazy how, you
Yeah.
know,
I honestly I love sleeping because I know how beneficial it is for me, but I hate the
yeah.
idea. I hate sleep. I just feel like it's such a waste of time.
Uh-huh.
But you need it. Everybody that's listening, that is like disclaimer. Like you need to sleep. It's so beneficial for you.
And do you consider yourself to be more of a day or a night person?
I'm early. I'm definitely early morning. I wake up
Hmm.
at 5, and I just like kind of naturally wake up then. Don't get me wrong though. I do like seeing the moon and the stars, uh,
Yep.
but I'm far more productive. See, kind of after this, like 4:30, 5 o'clock ish, I'll start to kind of wind down and I'll slow down a little bit. But I'm a morning person, and I love the sun. I love the sun.
And for you being a health fitness trainer, there's some food that for you, do you have like a guilt pleasure food that for you cannot eat, and sometimes you feel guilty because you eat it, or not? You are very good with your diet.
So I used to be really like I used to have a lot of guilt, and I used to have a very like restrictive approach with nutrition. However, now not so much. I very much live the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time I try and be nutrient focused, health focused. 20% of the time I let it be whatever. For a lot of people, you could do that over the week. I like doing it in spells of like, I'll maybe do it for a couple months, and I'll take a holiday and I'll allow myself to just eat and drink whatever I like. I've done a lot of things within health and fitness, so like from bodybuilding to dieting to bulking to cutting, all these things that there is nothing that tastes as good as being healthy feels.
Right.
And when you eat foods that you do like, and I'm very fortunate that it's my life and my passion, that I've found meals that agree with me, they fuel me, they satisfy me, they taste good, that everything that I do eat day to day, it does satisfy me. So I don't feel I've got those cravings and there's no like restriction in my diet that I'm not allowed anything. That I'm
Right.
pretty fortunate. But that has taken me a long time, and I'm sure that if there's people listening, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you lucky so and so." How did you? But it has taken me a long time. But if I was to have a favorite food or
Like
something that if I could eat,
guilt, a
yeah,
guilty
something that I
one.
could eat and it wouldn't impact my health, I do like pizza. I do really like pizza.
And how often do you eat pizza?
I'll maybe have it once a month, to be honest.
Okay.
You know what I do really like as well? I really like coffee and cake. Like,
Ooh.
nothing better than going somewhere, having a nice little bit of cake or a tray bake or something, and a nice coffee with it. And I'd probably do that weekly.
Uh-huh.
But a pizza I'll probably have once a month, maybe
I
twice a month.
see. Maybe 3 times. I'm
Yeah, maybe
joking.
as often as I can. But but no, it's I'm pretty fortunate that I don't really feel too guilty about food now. I used to. I used to feel really bad. Um, but now, pick and mix as well. Do you know like the variety of sweets that you put in a bag or a tub? They're in
Oh,
the cinemas and they're
yes.
in supermarkets.
Yeah.
I really like pick and mix as well. So either pick and mix or pizza.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, I always say fitness trainers, I always think that they are therapists as well because they share a lot of their, energy with their client. The clients share a lot of their, stories with them. There's like a lot of energy happening there. My question for you is, sometimes those energy can be a bit tricky or maybe negative. Do you find a way for you not to take this energy to your personal life, or for you just somehow you just focus on the training and you just have the session and you just don't get involved in some of the stories, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, so sometimes there are things that people will open up to you about, and it's hard to not think about it because it can be either shocking or impactful or um, maybe even like makes it's like completely against your own morals that you
Yeah.
do feel a bit like whoa. But you do have to be able like you have to learn to not well one not give unsolicited advice or tell people what to do with their lives. Um, and sometimes just listening to it, that you can hear that person like talk through it themselves. Um, there was another part. What was there was a first part of that question that you asked that I did have a point that I wanted to touch on. Um, that was it. But one of the most frustrating parts is, and I've touched on this, is you sometimes you can speak to someone and they're saying, "I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do that," and you can tell that they've just like decided, like they've closed that mind, that ceiling or that cap. It's come down on them. They're not going to let themselves even just try, or even try something slightly different. They're just, that's it. No, I can't. End of. That's the most frustrating. And that sometimes is like that for me. That's normally the thing that like gets me the most. Even on
Mm-hmm.
side of like the things that happen, is when you know someone's given up. And my clients, am I allowed to swear on this?
The beep. Put the beep.
I'll beep, okay. Um, the, like my clients will all say this. I say this all the time that you can only beep this up if you quit. And as soon as you know someone's quit, someone's given up, it's just so infuriating or devastating. I don't know how it's like heartbreaking to be fair, but that's from the energy when you can see that their energy and their drive to push themselves, they've just gone like, do you know what? This is harder than what it felt like to just stay the same, and that can be difficult because as a coach, there's a million ways to skin the cat. It's I just need them to give me another chance to tweak things, but sometimes people just cut it off and they're like, no, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
And most of your clients, they are female or males?
I think just now I'm like smack bang 50-50. Uh,
Okay.
in my early years, I was like 99% females, 1% males. Um, and I've got reasons I think for that. But now it's kind of slowly shifted, and I don't know if it's because I've done my own physique development stuff, and men are a bit more like, oh, I see that, I want that, whereas females are much better at like hearing ideas and envisioning themselves do things. That maybe because I done those bodybuilding preps that I'm getting more male clients now. But again, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm about 50-50 just now.
I see. Okay. Next question is, tell us about your best holidays and why you consider that.
My best holidays. Okay, so I've got three, I would say. The first time me and my wife went to Croatia, we went to Split, and it was just it was like the first time in a long time that we'd both been able to relax at the exact same time. In
Hmm.
our house, not our energies don't always match, and they kind of yo-yo. And sometimes one of us will be relaxed, the other one will be stressed, or vice versa. And it was like the first time in a long time that both of us were just able to just relax. And we went there with like no expectations, nothing, and we got there and it just blew us out the water. Um, the, the color of the ocean, for one, the white sandstone that they've got everywhere, the food, the drink, the coffees, everything was just like way beyond what we expected. So that was one holiday, 100% that absolutely blew us away, or me away. I would also say Toulouse in the south of France. We went there for our honeymoon. And again, it
Wow.
was just no expectations, no understanding, didn't know what was going to happen. We just arrived, we were walking around. There was just a nice buzz. I can remember it being so hot that it was almost unbearable though. But it was just nice just walking about. And everyone was so shocked that we were just staying there because Toulouse is somewhere that a lot of people just fly into and then leave. Um, and then our most recent holiday to Madeira,
Wow.
we actually put into ChatGPT, where should we go on holiday? And then it asked us a couple questions, and by the end it said either Barcelona or Madeira.
Wow.
I can't remember what the last question I asked it, but it said Madeira, and I was like, right, well, we'll go there. And I
Wow.
had no clue. And the only thing I knew about Madeira was it had like a sketchy landing strip for
Yes.
the plane.
It's,
That was
it's
all
very
I knew. I didn't know anything else. Oh, I knew Ronaldo was from there. But when we got there, it was just a big bit of us. A lot of exercise, a lot of activity, a lot of outdoors stuff, good food, really, really good food.
yeah.
The people were so lovely. Um, and then the microclimates were really cool. If you've never been to Madeira, I recommend going. It is just, it's like a mix of so many different worlds in one.
Yeah, I'm originally from Brazil and I lived in Portugal before moving to England. And of course, Madeira is one of the Portuguese islands. And, I've heard so many things about there. And it's a great place to be for sure. It's very, as I said, the food and the whole scenario is just
Yeah,
beautiful. It's great.
yeah, it's 100% recommend going.
Did you learn some Portuguese over there?
A little bit, and I should have said as well. When I was living in America, I lived with a Brazilian guy, Gustavo.
Oh,
He
okay.
wasn't with us for very long. He got really homesick. He was a
Oh,
lovely,
wow.
lovely guy. Right, let me try and remember. I used to obviously try and just learn all the swear words and stuff from him, but
Okay, I'm gonna tell you how to say última pergunta in Portuguese. Do you know how to say última? Oh, sorry. I said in Portuguese already. Uh, how to say last question in Portuguese? We say última pergunta.
última pengutra,
Última pergunta.
pergunta.
Perfect. Let's do it. Última. Okay, but before the last question, of course, through your career, I'm sure you have a lot of moments and situations that you always gonna have close to your heart for different reasons. But can you share one of them that you go like, you know what? I always remember that moment. Could be a feedback from a client, could be a situation, could be a moment, could be anything that you go like, you know what? I will always remember that.
So I do have quite a lot. Like I put a lot of effort into my clients, and I know that they would agree. And I do get a lot of messages about people telling me that I've changed their lives. And when we were speaking earlier on about what we think the meaning of life is, I think that if I've been able to impact people's lives to change the trajectory of it being better, more fulfilling, more satisfying, that is like it's huge, and that would probably be. But a personal one, something that happened. Um, I would class him as like a life mentor. Mike Forbes. He's not going to listen to this either. He's a busy, busy businessman, and I can remember. I've never been a businessman. I'm slowly trying to teach myself to be one. I'm trying to learn how to be one. I've always been a personal trainer, and I've always put like help people at the forefront of what I'm doing. And I remember doing my session with him, and I could tell he enjoyed it. And he put his hand on my shoulder, and he was like, "You've not even told me how much this is going to cost." And I was like, "Right, don't judge my ability to personal train on my business side of things. I'm not great with that." And he just kept his hand on my shoulder, and he looked me dead in the eyes, and he was like, "I'll help you with the business stuff." And he's held that, and he has helped me so much within business, within, I guess he has helped me develop to become the man that I am today through certain things. I think there's a vision that he had of where I would be, but I'm not quite that man, I don't think. But that time when he just looked me dead in the eyes, and I don't know if that's maybe a selfish one, if I'm perfectly honest, because there has been some unbelievable moments in my career, but that one there, it always
Oh,
jumps out at me. Just someone
Thomas,
willing to help me, like.
I can't wait to have someone to do the same with me, the magic box. Go like, William, you need someone like me to help you to grow the magic box.
You keep having these conversations, and it'll definitely happen.
I know. I think the right person come in the right time. I think you just whatever you do in life, you need to keep going, keep following your intuition, and whatever happen, the right person is gonna come and things gonna go the right direction for sure. That's how I see.
100%.
Okay, last question for you is: if you could go back in time in one moment or memory in your life for any reason, what that would be and why?
So one of the biggest buzzes I've ever had in life, like it was just one of those moments, like it was just pure euphoria, was when I just finished my dissertation. I just finished university. Like I really struggled with university. I'm not very bright. I'm not very academic. Um, and it was just so hard. And in fact, we lived up in Aberdeen for 2 years. The 2 years that we lived up there, Lisa, my wife, like it was so hard. Like we worked opposite shifts. We barely seen each other. Our flat was amazing, but it was damp. It was moldy. Like we couldn't change too much about it because we knew we weren't staying there for very long. I was working full time and studying. She
Wow,
was doing full time and then overtime. But there was a time we were driving back from Aberdeen to Arbroath, and I can remember just the both of us. I just remember feeling like just such a like like just it was just euphoric. Like if I could go back to that was just that quick, just that little moment. Or my wedding day. That or my wedding day. Every single part of my wedding day was amazing as
wow,
well.
beautiful. Okay, so then Jet, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to say some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay, let's start with money,
Progress.
family,
Love.
life.
Live it. Live life. One word.
It's okay. You can. It's okay. Not a problem. You
Yeah, okay.
repeat. Fear,
Oh, that hit me in the chest. Fear. Temporary.
love,
Love it. Love.
religion,
That's a deep one. What do I think of religion? Care.
sex,
Intimate.
politics,
I wish I had could speak more about that. Politics. Scary.
friendship,
Important.
desire,
Pursuit.
regret,
Let go.
success,
Meaningful.
wish,
Work.
happiness.
Enjoy.
One word for Scotland.
Brave.
And the last one now, fitness trainer, one word.
Care.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your wife for a coffee and I'm going to ask her, find Thomas in one positive and one negative word only. What she would say about you?
In one word, or like what would she say about
One word.
one positive?
Negative. Yeah, positive and negative.
I think she would say crazy for both of them.
Okay? She knows you very well, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Let's play now, Thomas, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, people watching this interview right now, maybe they would like to, to connect with you through your fitness, for you to guide them somehow. tell me something that's about the job that you provide that stands out compared with other people around the globe.
So I think within my personal training and my health and fitness coaching, it's not about me, it's about you. And I want you to be able to be you, and we want to piece together your plan, your approach, and how you get to your goals. It's not my narrative, it's not my dictatorship. It's us working together to try and figure out what you need. I like books, I like reading, I've done a lot of education. So I use that ideology for your reality. And I think that that gets missed a lot now, especially with this like influencer that's coming in that's like, do what I do, copy me, be like me. I don't want to be like that. I want you to be you, and I want you to be thriving while you're being yourself.
Wow. Okay, Thomas, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so I actually used to have my own podcast. I don't do it anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it was called Man, and it was Muscles and Nonsense because
oh wow.
I wanted it to be about male mental health. Um, and I finished every single episode with the same question.
Okay.
And I'll ask you that. What do you think it takes to be a good man?
What a great question. My God. Wow. You
And
put
I
right.
think you're a good man to ask this because I talking with you, the questions that you've asked me, I think you are thoughtful. I think
You.
you don't just say anything. I
Yeah.
think that there's like traits that you have that I personally would class as a good man. So I think that's a great question. I wish I could speak to you for longer and ask you more, but I would honestly love to know what you think it takes to be a good man.
Wow. Wow. What a lovely question. And actually, I had here over 1,000 interviews on the show. Nobody asked me this question before. I love it, Thomas. And you know what? I'm going to be very genuine with you. Um, you know, what the first thing that came to my mind is what I believe is for you to love others, for you to be good to other people, for you to be a good man to other people, you need to love yourself first. You need to, somehow work on yourself. Goosebump when I'm saying that. You
Yeah.
need to find the best in yourself. You need to understand your weakness, your negative. We all have those negative side as well. Your positivity, everything about you. So based in, answer your question is for you to be a good man, you need to be a good man to yourself first. Like there's a very basic, you cannot be good to anyone else if you're not good to yourself first. Because if you're good to yourself first, trust me, you're going to be the best person anyone can have around you. Because first of all, you love yourself first. You care about yourself first. You look after yourself first. And if you can do that, trust me, you don't need more than that. So you're going to be a good person, a good man to others, just being yourself, because you already, somehow protect your own way of living. Wow. I'm even impressed with my answer. I wasn't
That's
expecting that.
amazing. I agree. I think that's a great point, and I knew that's why I wanted to ask you because I think that's important. I think it's important to try and be a good man, and I think it's good to try and take from other good men or other
Totally.
men what they do and piece that together.
Absolutely. And it's very basic. I know it looks very basic, sounds very genuine, but is the basic you can do. For you to become a better person or to be good to others as well, you need to love yourself first. You need to find a way to look at you and look in the mirror. You go like, you know what? I love the person I'm looking into now. So I think there's the very basic way for you to be a good man to others. It's about love yourself first, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. There's a good book that's called, I think it's called like How to Be Alone. And there's a
Okay.
part in that, and it says something like self-love's accepting that you have flaws, but understanding that's part of you.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And I think that ties in with that, like loving yourself, like truly loving yourself, like understand, like, look, I have flaws or I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. And being able to be like, well, it's just how it is.
Totally. And all of us, we have those negative and positive sides that we all love. But when you know it, when you work on it, it's impossible for you not to be a good person to others if you know that, because you're gonna be aware of it somehow.
Yeah.
Beautiful question, love, Thomas. Wow, amazing.
Great
Love it.
answer. Thank you very much.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was really, really good. Thank you for having me on, honestly.
Thanks again. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being so kind and accepting the invitation as well. Love to have passionate people here on the show. And I think, talking to you, I can feel your passion about your life and about your career as well. And I think it's amazing to see that for sure. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
We need to stop trying to be flawless because your flaws are what make you beautiful.
Wow, straightforward. Amazing. Thanks again. Regards to your wife, to your family and friends, and keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show, okay? Enjoy your
Thanks
day.
so much, William. Thank you. Honestly, I've
Take,
absolutely loved doing this.
take care. Bye-bye. Take
Right.
care.
Bye-bye. Take care.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.